The other day, I realized something, and that is that I have been a full-time content creator now for 10 years, which is crazy because when I started, the word influencer wasn't even a word. And so I thought to myself, what are some of the things that I have learned over the last 10 years as an influencer that would be helpful for those that want to start? I'm gonna share them with you today. So if you're new to this channel, my name's Sarah Funk. I am a content creator with over 600,000 followers across social media. And from social media, I was able to start 2 separate companies. One is a tour company here in New York City where we guide people through food and walking tours, and that is called Funky Experiences, and the other one is a video production company called Funk & Co Creatives. So everything I'm telling you here in this video is based on experience and legit information that you're probably not going to find anywhere else. So let's get into it. First up, you have to believe in yourself so much that you will literally do anything to make this dream come true. When I quit my corporate job, which was a very stable job, by the way. I was doing North American marketing strategy for the Walt Disney Company. People literally thought I was insane. And I remember telling people, like, I'm gonna quit to try to essentially do like what Anthony Bourdain did, and somehow people will pay me. Like, that was a crazy concept, but I knew that I was gonna make it work and do whatever it takes. For the first 18 months of quitting my job, I was essentially blowing through my savings. At around the 15 month mark, I gave myself another 3 months and then I literally would have ran out of money. But I came up with this idea during that time period about my New York channel, which is why so many of you are here. And that completely changed the game for me. And within a few months, Travel and Leisure reached out. And when Travel and Leisure reached out, that started to open other doors. There's going to be moments where you're going to think it's not gonna work, but you have to make it work. Otherwise, you're not meant for this because this takes a lot of hard work. You need a thick skin, a very thick skin. And by that, I mean, you cannot be influenced by the haters. My policy is I will not give haters attention. Why? Because if I actually responded, I'd be like, you know? If I wouldn't be comfortable being quoted on the New York Times saying something that I say online, then I'm not gonna say it at all. On a positive note, the haters will sometimes comment nasty things many times. Honestly, this just increases your engagement. I mean, is it ideal? No. And by the way, this is something that I've learned from celebrities like Selena Gomez, who speaks a lot about mental health issues. If you actually listen to the haters, you will have mental health problems, so just ignore them. Just ignore them. That's it. The next thing I think is really important is you need to create binge-worthy content with consistency. A lot of people that want to be influencers today, I've found, they just end up posting anything, but there is a strategy that has been proven to work time and time again by some of your favorite creators, and it worked for me, finding your niche. A niche is a specific topic that you are either very knowledgeable about or passionate about, or both. So for me, it was about New York City. So you should post about your niche only. Why? Because when someone goes to your channel, your Instagram, TikTok, whatever, when they get to it, it should be clear who you are and what you talk about right away. If you're posting about a salad and then New York and then a puppy and then like your outfit, it's like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. And when you first start out, you just have to choose one topic, get really good at it, and then start slowly introducing other topics. So many people that want to be creators do not do this, and it becomes very confusing. On that note, you should focus on quality content over quantity. But at the same time, posting consistently is very important. When I first started out the New York series, which is when all the growth happened, it was like 12 months of confusion, and then finally I came up with the idea that worked. I posted a video every single Thursday and I made it binge-worthy, okay? You have to do the same thing. So that way when they look at one piece of content, they want to look at the next and the next and the next and the next. And this gets you in the search engines, which is very effective. Perfection is impossible. It's better to just do it, try it, see how it goes, and adapt. The best creators, they have content that's always doing well. It's better than just have it going viral once and then just fizzling out. You want to be great long-term. You got to think of the end game. And with that, the next point I have is longevity. How do you stay in this business for a while? Let's walk. As much as content creation is definitely a creative outlet, the people that are the most successful and the ones that can actually do this full time are those that have a business understanding. You need to have multiple income streams. I personally have 6 income streams, and this is how successful content creators are able to keep doing this full time. Without that, it would be impossible. You cannot just rely on sponsorship. So let's go through all 6 together. Brand sponsorships, that's when a brand will pay you money to be featured in your content. Number 2, ad revenue. So ad revenue is like when you get an ad served when you watch my YouTube videos, I get a percentage of that. This also happens on Facebook and Instagram. And if you have a website or a blog, you can put ads on there through a company called Mediavine. And I use all 4 of those methods. So together they end up being a pretty good amount. So that's another income source. And then of course, affiliate sales. Affiliate sales is commission. I love showing some really cool things in New York that you can buy tickets to. So if they have an affiliate program, I will link my affiliate link. So that way, if you guys buy tickets, then I would get a % of that ticket sale. So thank you so much when you use my links because it really helps fund the content. Licensing. So sometimes when a brand hires you to make sponsored content, you can actually negotiate them to get usage rights of the content to use in marketing and ads for their own use. And that's called licensing. I'll get into the details of that one later on, but that is an added amount. And then the last 2 are product sales and services you offer. So I actually have 2 different companies that were created all from YouTube. And I'll get into that in the next tip, which is don't promote brands. You are the brand. This one's really important. All right, you are the brand, all right? Go beyond just promoting brands. You are the brand. Why? Because when you realize how much money some of these brands are making from influencers promoting their products, you start to add it up and you say, you know what? I could actually create my own product that I think is fantastic and is exactly what I envision people wanting to do in New York. And so that's literally how the tour company came to be. So instead of promoting a big corporation's tours, I'm like, I'll make my own tours. And that's literally how Funky Experiences came to be. So now we have a food tour, we have historical walking tours, we have private tours, we do tours for all different types of groups. It's awesome. And it's like, why would I promote someone else when I can promote myself? Same with my production company, Funk & Co Creatives. A lot of brands kept paying me for licensing rights for the content I was making for them. And then I realized, why are we doing it like this? I could just start my own production company for video. And now we work with different companies all over the United States making high-end video content for them. And it's just smarter because then you actually have ownership versus just being paid for a one-off thing. So don't only promote other brands, you need to be the brand. Now, speaking of licensing, my next tip has to do directly with that. And that is understanding usage rights in contracts. I know, contracts aren't very exciting. They aren't. They're like one of the most boring parts of content creation. If you think about like how Taylor Swift had to republish all of her songs, it's because the first contract was kind of not great and she wanted full ownership of her own music. So this is what we're talking about here, is understanding usage rights and ownership in a contract. Whenever you sign a contract, you need to understand how the content will be used. So a lot of the time they're just paying you for a sponsorship, but in the contract, they'll hide usage rights. This happens so many times. Read every contract in detail. There's always a section in pretty much every contract that has to do with being a content creator that talks specifically about ownership. And if you see anything like this sentence, it is a massive red flag unless you negotiated those usage rights. The brand will have unlimited worldwide use of this content in perpetuity for the rest of time, something like that. It will say something like throughout the universe, throughout the world, in perpetuity, however they want to use it, in TV, radio, digital, blah, 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 blah. If you see this in a contract and you did not agree to the brand getting to use that content in that way, you must tell the brand, hi, the contract looks good. My only note is please remove the section about ownership. If you would like those usage rights, there is an additional fee for that. It is this, X, whatever the fee is. I've been screwed over personally by this, and I'll tell you a story. I was working with a language learning application, I'm not gonna say names, and this was in the early days when I first became an influencer. It was like the Wild West. There was no information online about how much you should charge brands or what you should look out for, which is part of the reason why I'm making this video. And the brand hired me to do a promotion for them that I would post on my YouTube channel, and they paid me like barely any money. And I signed the contract. In the contract, it gave them full usage rights to use that content in television, radio, worldwide for 2 years. So I was like, yeah, but they won't use it because they just told me that they want the content for me to promote it. So even though that's in the contract, like they're not gonna do that because we just talked about this sponsorship. False. They ran that content as a television and radio ad for 2 years, and I got paid essentially what you would pay for a meal out to dinner. So this is why I tell you this from experience. If you see that in a contract, you need to have the brand remove it from the contract. If they do not remove it from the contract, do not sign the contract or negotiate a higher rate to include those usage rights. You're welcome. Look at this view. The view from Little Island is so pretty of downtown Manhattan. It's the perfect time, you guys, to talk about LLCs. I know you were thinking the same thing. Yeah, LLCs. You need to become an LLC as soon as you can. Why? Because an LLC, which is a limited liability company, it takes 2 seconds. You can do it through LegalZoom. It costs like $200, and it's the best $200 you'll ever spend, because if anything ever happens and someone tries to sue you, they would sue your LLC, and all the personal money you have cannot be taken. Look into the details of this, but I'm telling you from experience, I've been through this. In my early days, like the first year I started, I made a little mistake. I didn't understand things. And I actually used an image that I found on Google Images in this blog post. It was literally a picture of a taxi at an airport. A few months later, I get this email from a lawyer who was like, you've breached the copyright laws by using this photo without citing the photographer. And according to the law, like, you need to settle or we're gonna take you to court. And we think a fair settlement amount would be $7,000. This really happened. This really happened, you guys. At the time, I was just starting out and I didn't even have $7,000 in my bank account, okay? So I full-blown panicked. I thought my life was over. I contacted a lawyer and I was like, what do I do? Like, I took it down immediately. I took the photo down immediately. And the lawyer said, I think this is just a money grab, but this is a legitimate law firm. Like, I'll write a letter to them saying, no, you were in the right. And essentially it cost me for that lawyer to write one email to the freaking people, the other lawyer, cost $500, okay? For like the legal consultancy fee and blah, blah. And then my lawyer just said, $7,000 is an insane amount for this. So we're gonna acknowledge it with this letter, but if they keep pushing, do not respond. If they actually try to take you to court, then we'll handle it. And thank God they just eventually let it go. They were essentially trying to get money out of me quickly without taking me to court. That lesson, my lawyer was like, you need to be an LLC. If something like this happens again, then they can never actually touch your like personal money. So become an LLC as fast as you can. And with that, LLCs also have some tax benefits, which is my next tip. Understand the tax system, because there are so many legal ways to reduce your taxes when you are an LLC or an S corporation like my business is, which is just essentially a different form of an LLC. And these tax methods can reduce what you owe in taxes, but also they can provide you with opportunities to grow your own wealth. I recommend getting a financial advisor when you're doing something like this to help you understand how to run a business financially. This isn't something that is common knowledge. So I have a tax person, a bookkeeper, and a financial advisor, and I meet with them every single month to go over things. This is something that anyone that is a successful business owner does. and something that sadly people don't talk about enough, because this can literally change your life. So do that. But most of all, being a content creator full-time is an incredible blessing. I can't believe that I get to do this every day. It's been a dream. I literally haven't felt like I've worked a day in my life since quitting my corporate job. And I get to, make content for people like you and help them have an amazing time in New York City or trip to some incredible destination. So it's an incredibly, incredibly fulfilling career, and I encourage you to try it, because if I can do it, you can do it. Don't be overwhelmed with any of the things I just shared. All of this comes with time and experience. And let me know if you have any questions about anything I talked about in the comments. I'll reply with my honest feedback and advice from 10 years as a full-time influencer. And you can do it. I believe in you. Thanks for watching. Bye.